It's longer time. Yay! Lager time. Poems, stories and thoughts. By me, Paul Cree. Who else?
Greetings, bonjour, what's happening? Welcome to Lager Time. My name is Paul Cree. Lager Time is my fairly regular podcast where I share bits of writing that I'm working on. I write poems, I write stories, I write lyrics. Sometimes I write plays and other things. So here we are. We're in southeast London at the bottom of the garden. It is disgustingly hot. And like a plank, but in true Lager Time style, I just recorded this, got halfway through and realised I'd made a mistake in the recording process. I wanted to get in and get out today because it is so hot. It's very difficult to work down here. It's too hot, basically. And then I've gone and made quite a simple error. But it was ever thus. This is Lager Time. This is me. Unfortunately, this is what I do. It's probably not the best advert. But I know, at Lager Time, I don't like taking too long to do this because I don't have the time. But I'll try and make it as good as I can. But there we are. I'm suffering for the art. But hopefully this is sounding all right. It's basically, I had to unplug my mic the other day. I was doing some music for this show. I had to plug in a different mic and I've left the volume right up on that other one. Anyway, so here we are, Lager Time. I had this whole introduction planned out. Loads of spiel, but I'm not going to do that now because it's too hot. It's probably not all that interesting. I had some thoughts on England against Ghana. Pretty much it was saying that I thought Ghana's defensive display was excellent. Every man knew their job and was a very disciplined, organised performance. There you go. So that's the England-Ghana feedback from Paul. Scotland fans that I saw on YouTube regurgitating that trope that England fans are arrogant and obsessed with the 1966 World Cup. Maybe 30 years ago that was valid, but that's not valid anymore as far as I know. I don't know any England fans that talk about 1966. That's done, mate. It's over. Move on. Right, that's that bit done. Millwall new striker from Guadeloupe. Tariq Arconte, Guadeloupe via France, second tier striker. Don't know what he's like, but he scored a few goals from Guadeloupe. Didn't know where Guadeloupe was, so I looked it up on Google. I love looking on Google. Also, that other team that's in the World Cup, whose name I forget. It's another Caribbean island, ex-Dutch colony. Look that up too. I love looking at maps, so that's that bit. In terms of me, workshops, I've been doing a project which finishes on Monday, every Monday at Woolwich Library as part of the National Year of Reading. Each week, I work with a group of adult writers, varying ages. It's really good. You interpret a different piece of text and do a bit of writing. Got their final session this week. Anyone's welcome to come. 5:30 till 7, Woolwich Library. No, 5 till 6:30. Then I've been editing Way of the Kip, which is the story that I shared on here last couple of months. I went on to say that it's been very beneficial for me, this process of sharing a chapter each week, because now I've gone back to edit it. I've changed loads. But by sharing the stuff each week, it made me get to the end of it. And I needed that draft, that first draft, that very rough first draft, so I can start going in and nitpicking, which is the bit that I like. Woo! So thank you to anyone who read and shared. And then lastly, What We Do When We Can't Dance, which is the Dream Arts Rep theatre show, project that I work on this year. I've made the soundtrack and written the script alongside the directors of that project. That show is going to the Lichfield Garrick Theatre in July. I can't remember the date like an idiot, but there will be a link in the bio. It's pay what you can. And then it will be going to Isle of Wight after that. And then lastly, before we get into the story, my 5-track rap EP, More 64s of Boredom, is available to stream and download on all of your regular services. Yeah, 5-track. Each track has a 64-bar rapped verse, all done in one take. There you go. All right, so this short story came out of nowhere. I was on a tube going to Edgware, which is the other side of London, quite far away. Me and my wife was heading up there. This story came out. Very simply, I was just playing around with an idea. It was more of an exercise where can I come up with characters that can represent, personify different thoughts and feelings. So there's two characters in here, Shane and Harrison, which is shame and embarrassment, right? Very simply, nothing clever. But here we go. Oh, let me take a breath and a bit of water. Flipping hell. Right, here we go. There's no name for this. A short story about shame and embarrassment. The only way I know how to cope with taking a kicking from Shane and Harrison is to close my eyes, curl up in a ball, and pray for the pain to be numbed. Which it will, eventually, when everything dies down again and after a few days and a bit of healing, I can re-enter society, damaged and delicate, but ready to go again. I've been here before, of course, many times. Before being the sticky floor tiles of the cobblers, between the fruity and the bar hatch, while Shane's right shoe goes to work on my ribs and face. Harrison having already laid the first few jabs which sent me stumbling. I think Shane must have glassed the side of my head moments later which sent me tumbling down into my current position. Had just enough in the tank to curl up in a ball and assume the fetal position. Over the years, I've come to associate in said fetal position more with Shane and Harrison than I have with any sort of longing for maternal comfort. Few more minutes and it should be done. In the initial stages of a shoeing, the shock is always worse than the pain of it. Then the numbness kicks in and you feel nothing. Once they've sauntered off and I'm slowly getting up, picking up my teeth off the floor, I may even feel a tiny sense of relief that it's all over. For now. But that's about as good as it gets. The real pain is the following day and upon waking. If this isn't a living hell, and there is something worse to experience in this life, I really don't want to know what you'd have to do to earn it. That's the thing. I'm no saint. But I don't think what I do is all that bad. It's not good, but I'm sure there's worse things. Clearly Shane and Harrison have got it in for me because no matter what I do, they're nearly always there. Got into the cobblers about 7. Larry and Tyson were a couple of pints in. I'd been on a good run. Kept my head down, so hadn't seen Shane in a while. Harrison once or twice, but whenever he appeared, I toned it down. Shane was certainly the worst of the two. He was the one I wanted to avoid the most. Ideally both of them, but Shane's brand of pain prescription was something else. I should have gone home when I learned Kian wasn't there. He always knew when to turn it in, whereas Larry and Tyson would get carried away and take me with them. They weren't always a double act, but when they were, Shane and Harrison would normally follow. Few more pints and I decided to ignore the Kian no-show, somewhat convincing myself that I had nothing to worry about. At this point, Willie turns up. He was always either very late or very early. He's a bit of a melt. Few more pints and I selected a couple of rousing numbers on the jukebox, us boys getting our sing-song on to a bit of Oasis. Harrison soon appeared, lurking in the background as he so often does. It's when he starts to step closer. That's when the tarmac starts to get a bit frosty. Willie kept nudging me to look in his direction. I acknowledged him, but the party was in full swing and Larry and Tyson were on fine form. Gags, banter, anecdotes, song, they had the lot and the pints were flowing, and when the settings are this perfect, it drowns everything else out. The trick is to know where you are and rein it in before you hit the peak. Slowly ascend back down. It's the Kian method. He gets it right every time. But he don't come out all that often. Willie will never let it get that far either, but he was just anxious all the time. Compared to Larry and Tyson, those two are no fun. Larry has put that D'Angelo track on, Pony. We all loved that track, even Willie and Kian. Larry dared me, so I go up on the table and started dancing. A few cheers go up in the pub. Harrison appears on the horizon. Larry is screaming his encouragement. The buckle comes off, the buttons on my jeans get undone, and out comes my arse. With my view from height, I notice Harrison gets his phone out and slips out the pub. The landlord, Tony, screams at me, and I see the look of horror on his wife's face. I pull my jeans up and climb back down from the table. I quickly scan for Harrison, but he's not there. Another look at the bar, and Tony and his wife are having stern words. Willie suggests I select something a bit more mellow to calm things down. Get to the jukebox by the bar, turn, and Harrison is there, and that's when he pings me. When I finally pick myself up, all the boys have gone. Just Tony cleaning up the bar. He eyeballs me with a look of disappointment. I apologise. My head goes straight back down to the floor as I skulk out. Escorted, of course, all the way home and into my bed by Shane and his trusty mate, Harrison. There you go. That is it. Lager time this week is done. Have a lovely weekend. I'm flipping out. Stay cool. I am sweating, mate. We're done. Thank you. Bye.
It's lager time. Yay! Lager time. Poems, stories and thoughts. By me, Paul Cree. Who else?